it's been a while. How you guys doing out there? So, a couple of months ago, I decided that um, I needed to start a chore chart and kind of like a for my children when they get their schoolwork, kind of like a daily reminder of everything they had to do so that they can start. Number one, I didn't have to prompt them to know what to do next as far as their projects and their schoolwork goes, but also so that certain things in the house could just be done on autopilot without me having to say it, and they would be in some way for them to be intrinsically motivated to do that. So I was like, okay, I need to do a chore chart, but I didn't want to call it a chore chart. It wasn't enough to just say, hey, here's a list of things to do, and you need to make sure you do this every day, and I'm just going to put a sticker on it. I mean, I wanted it to be interactive. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be personal, and I wanted it to go in line with the values that are important to us, them, my children growing up to be critical thinkers and to be I don't want them to just be employees. I want them to be businessmen and women. I want them to be independent thinkers. I want them to be successful and to have inner happiness. I want them to be a whole human being, not just this this one thing and this one definition that fits into a perfect square of success. I want them to reach their purpose in life, whatever that may be. They have to fulfill their purpose in life, and they need to reach self-actualization. So in order to promote that and to nurture that in them, I feel like with the chore chart, it has to reflect that, because chores really are the beginning of learning independent skills, how to take care of yourself. It's more than just getting work done that I want them to do. It's work that they need to do for themselves. So I put up a post on Facebook, and I was like, hey, I wanted this chore chart, but I don't want to call it chores. And right away, it was like people understood what I meant. They gave all kinds of suggestions. Let's see. How do I bring it back up your screen? But people offered a lot of ideals for what to call the chore chart. Some of those which I loved was like the winner's circle. There's some people say they call it daily responsibilities, rising to the top chart, rising star accomplishments, personal space awareness chart, space mindfulness, life skills, stress reducers, and so basically what I said for the post, I said, working on the chore independent study chart for my children, but I don't want to call it chores, jobs, or help. I'm trying to raise entrepreneurs here, and I want it to have more of a teamwork feel to it. So big question is, what should I call their charts? So people gave all these suggestions. I had over 21 responses for what I can see here. And I was like, wow. So it really got me to thinking. In the beginning, I'm thinking I'm just going to make this big poster board, write their names, put some lines on it, put some stickers. And it kind of grew into this whole thing just off the inspiration from the names of people for the chart that people gave me. So what I decided, after much, I thought on it for like a week, and things started coming together in my head, of course. And so I was like, you know what? Everything that I teach my children, the foundation that really is about, we talk a lot about like chakras, and chakras are these energy centers, and how you have to keep them balanced and keep them spinning the right way in order to be healthy and for everything to really fall in place and for you to really feel balanced in this on your life path. So I thought, well, why not go back to the basics and base this off of chakras? So I decided to call it the chakra chart. So some people will say a chore chart, but for us, it's the chakra chart, because throughout life, I always want them to feel that, you're not just doing dishes. Doing these dishes is helping you to, number one, it's helping you to help yourself, because you're basically keeping your environment clean, which is important for your root chakra and for you to feel comfortable and balanced in that. But also it's part of being a team, so number one, self-care, taking care of yourself. Number two, in your energy, and being, keeping your energy in your space, in your sacred space. keeping it clean and balanced, and how to do that, and doing dishes, or saying, hey, I finished this task, I need to move on to the next one so I can reach my goal for my business or whatever. That's what this is about. So number one, self-care. Number two, teamwork makes the dream work. It's not just mommy and daddy here that's taking care of you and pulling everything, but we are a family. We are a team together. We are a team together, and we're all in this together, and everything runs smoother. I have a saying that my children, I hear them repeat it often now, and they say many hands make less work, or many hands make small work. So if everybody's putting in a hand, it's not as much work for anybody. We're all happier, we're all more peaceful, calmer, and everything's flowing much better. So the chakra chart, I felt like calling it chakra chart encompass all of that. So what I have back here is what I came up with. So I started out, I'll show you, see if I can take this and kind of show you. So right here is my daughter's picture. And I know this is kind of backwards, so this is the crown chakra. So the crown chakra is pretty much anything that has to do with their studies, any intellectual work. So updating their daily calendar, doing any of their workbooks, working on any of their art projects, just any of their working on their abacus, any of those things, they're the daily tasks they have to do that are towards their learning. I call that goes on the crown chakra. Okay. And then over here is the root chakra. And that's typically anything that has to do with like keeping a clean environment. Because as I explained to them, your root chakra is really about your basic needs. Every human needs air, needs to breathe, needs air. Every human needs water. Every human needs food. Every human needs shelter. Every human, in order to be healthy and to be happy, you have to have, and to be balanced, you need to have a clean, clear environment. So this is the basic setup. So this is my daughter's, and this is my son over here. He has the same thing. And as you can see, there's 2 hooks, and then there's one below. And then over here, it's my other son. Same setup, crown chakra, root chakra, and the hooks right here. So yeah, you can see the hooks on hers too. 1, 2, and 3. So what's up with the hooks? Okay, so what else do I have here? So I also have a magnetic pocket right here, and this is the refrigerator, so it's magnetic. And I made sure that this chart is low, and so that it's on their level and they can reach it. My 4-year-old, my 7-year-old, my 11-year-old. So I had to make sure they all could reach it. Now, this is the privilege basket. This holds all the privileges. So once they do everything they need to do, and they've done a sufficient amount of crown and root chakra activities, then they earn a privilege. Okay, and these are the privilege cards. So my privilege cards are I'll go into that in a minute. So that's the privilege cards. And then oh, you got it. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Got it, Dan. So right here's a privilege card, and they all have this wonderful I don't know if you can see background on them. And as you see, I made these yeah. So I laminated everything. They're on basic paper printed out, and then I laminated everything, and then they have these key rings on them. And this is great because it's magnetic, but it also makes it easy to hang on the hook. So some things that are privileges are like computer time, a jam session. See what else we have in here. An extra snack. Of course, a healthy snack. A cup of tea. My children love tea. And this would be, I'm not saying that this is something you want to copy exactly. What is a privilege in your family may be way different than what's a privilege in my family, okay? Depending on your child and what you're trying to do. Choose a field trip, just to give you an ideal. Phone time. So this would be like calling, I'll let them call one of their friends or call like their grandma or somebody like that. And let's see what else. I also have other. So if there's something that I don't have already in here and we can negotiate it, there's room for that. So that's the privilege cup, and it's magnetic. And somebody asked me, they said, where did you get these cups? And honestly, I'm not trying to get no shout outs to anybody. Okay, temperature of my advice. Okay, it's getting hot. So anyway, yeah, you can take it at this, I guess. What was I gonna say? These I'm trying to get, they're not giving me any payments or anything like that, but I did just go to Staples or like Office Depot, and they have these cups, and I'm sure you can order them on Amazon too, but it's just a cup and it has the magnet slab on the back. So I'm gonna stick that back up here, and I keep that up high because I pretty much give them the privilege I don't just let them grab it. I give it to them when I feel like they've done a sufficient amount of their root chakra and crown chakra. And going along with that, is that there's some days I notice that they're really heavy on root chakra and they haven't done really any crown chakra. And there's some days when all they've done is crown chakra, but they haven't done a lot of root chakra. And that kind of made me more aware of that, because before I was never really aware, even though they were always doing these activities. But now I'm aware, like, hey, maybe we need to balance that out. Like, you did a lot of crown today, let's do some root. Or you did a lot of root, let's do some crown. And, you know, make sure we're keeping our chakras balanced. Not that every day needs to be an exact balance day, but it's good to know, like, you know, if there's a pattern in there, and just to analyze that and be like, okay, is this all right? Is this not all right? Do I need to, you know...
some days are better, right?
Right. Some days are better for it than some others. Okay. So I also have another magnetic pocket here. And this one is the crown chakra. Okay, so I'll show you how I have these set up. And you can see they've been using them because they're just all thrown in here. And I also have a little place for like a pen or a marker in here. So this one is magnetic on the back as well. And it is a place for like a I like to use a dry erase marker in here, so that way I can write on these if I need to, because they're all laminated and they'll have the key ring. And I used a glue gun to glue these on here, and glue the ones that are behind me. I used a glue gun to glue the hooks on and all that. But you can do magnets or a glue gun, whatever works best in the space that you're using. And I also made sure it was in a space that was very visual, where anybody, because they're really proud of what they do. So when like I have guests over and they're like, oh, what's going on here? And they get that recognition for what they did, even if it's just a guest. And plus, it's where we all can see it, so that they can all see what each other is doing and feel motivated from that too. So back to the crown chakra, and here I have, and you gotta remember, I have an age range from 4 to 11. So some of these are more appropriate for my 4-year-old, while some of these are more appropriate for my 11-year-old. And that, of course, will vary in your house, what you want done. So that doesn't belong in here. So I guess crown chakra would be, here's one, Mancala, which is a very mathematical game. So I have the picture here, and I made sure that my pictures were all reflecting diversity and were culturally appropriate. So you want to look for that too. So I have it also, this chakra chart also promotes literacy, because it has the word on the back. So they are looking at the word and recognizing it, but then it also has a picture. So it's appropriate for my 4-year-old who's not really reading yet, but also useful for my 11-year-old who is reading and wouldn't really need a picture, but she can use it just as easy as my 11-year-old can use it. And also it's promoting her literacy skills. So, okay. So now I also have on here my daughter doing her alphabet chart, which, by the way, I have the downloads for these on my website. If you go to passageinstitute.com, on there you can download these for free. And they're basically culturally appropriate alphabet cards, which you can print out and then cut and laminate. And they're pretty good size. And you can hang them on the wall or whatever. And I can show you later, if I have time, how I use them with my children every day. So alphabet chart. Let's see, I have equations. And then on the other side is that a picture of equations being done. So this is, I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see like an idea of what I have in here. Here's the alphabet chart. And I mean, not alphabet, but phonics chart that she's in front of. And then I have phonics chart written on here. Let's see some things that might be for the older children. I have number chart. It's a lot of stuff in here with her, because I'm really trying to get her boosted and motivated here. Here's chess, which I've been constantly trying to get the boys, work on the skills. And by the way, we also have, flashcards for chess for free that you can download on our website as well. So look for that too, for chess cards for working with your children. No matter how young they are, those cards are very helpful. So you can download those for free on our website, print them out, laminate them, and use them. And I could show you some of those later too if I have time. Calendar math books. So this would be like my older children. They have a calendar math book that they're supposed to update every single day of their own. I'll save that one for, that's in the wrong one. So as you can see, we've been using this system now for about a month and a half, and we're still adjusting to it. Okay, so that's crown chakra. So now I'm going to go on to the root chakra. So I keep the crown chakra low down where they can reach it and go and everything. And it's also teaching them sorting skills as well, because they have to know what's going to go in the crown chakra and what's going to go into the root chakra. So this is root chakra. And root chakra would be things that basically having to do with your basic needs, like keeping the house clean and things like that. So things that go into root chakra would be like washer and dryer. So here's a picture of my son taking the clothes out the dryer. Okay, so like if they have to sort the laundry, anything with that. So if they actually do this task, then they get to hang it on their chart. And they would hang it under the appropriate, whether it's root or crown. This is a root chakra, so we're going to hang it on root chakra, okay? And there are many different ways this chart can be used. Right now, so I wasn't exactly sure how that would work. At first, I was thinking I would put everything that I wanted them to do on the hook, and then as they complete it, they would put it down on the lower hook. But what has actually happened is that they go in, they do their activities, and then they put it on the hooks. And I actually realized that my hooks are probably a little too small because they do a lot. I'm like, wow, you guys are really doing a lot. And they run out of room sometimes with the hooks. So I might update to like bigger hooks. But they put everything on themselves. And then at the end of the day, we count them up and see who did the most. And we see who reaches that limit. And then pretty much they get their, someone was saying, do I use a point system with it? But at that point, I would decide who gets the privilege card. Sometimes, they all do. Sometimes when one person was the only really exceptional one, it just really depends if they hit their points for that day. So going back to root chakra, root, here we go. I put sous chef on here, and I really want to push their vocabulary and their ideal of like jobs outside of the box. So sous chef I have here, and it's my son helping out in the kitchen. He's grinding down pepper in that picture. They love doing that. So really creating a love for learning, a love for being involved in the chores and in the house and what's going on in it, because that's how they learn. And that's basic life skills. Here's my daughter. This one says dishes, and this is her at the sink doing dishes. Know if it's coming into focus. It's so cute. Let's see, what else do we have here? Look at this one. I know. Talk about euphemism. Sanitation engineer, right? Vocabulary builder. And then on the other side, I have my son. He's in charge of making sure he goes into all the bathrooms and empty out the trashes in the bathroom into the bigger trash. So that's sanitation engineer. So working on that vocabulary and thinking outside of the box with those jobs. This says clean pencil box out and sharpen pencils and maintaining. This is pretty much like the ideal of a child maintaining their locker, for example, at school, cleaning it out and making sure their space is clean. So they each have their own pencil box, and they're responsible for cleaning that out at least once a week and making sure their pencils are sharpened. If they need to update their eraser and get a new one or a new pencil gripper, they need to do all that maintenance themselves, not waiting on me to do it and not me doing it, but them doing it. So that's promoting that. This one is so cute. It says pajamas, getting dressed at night. You see his brother helping him button up and put his pajamas on. I love those pictures. So yeah, use your children's pictures. Make it personal. That makes it more fun. It makes them able to identify with it more. I have clean off the table, and then I have a picture of the table and them sitting at it with their teacher, cleaning their room. Here's a picture for that. It's him actually in his bedroom cleaning up. You can see on it says clean bedroom. So you get the ideal. You get the ideal. So yeah, so let me make sure I answer. And then here goes where I put the dry erase marker. And I would write at the end of the day when I tally up how many of each chore they've done or each activity they've done. I write that number on the chart here, each of their numbers, and then it's dry erase, so it can rub off and erase really easy. So let's see. I have a couple of questions here you guys asked me. Let me make sure I answer them. What was the children's response to the chakra chart? So what I have noticed is that my middle son, who is 7 years old, he took to it right away. He was on it. I mean, he filled these things up. He made me motivated. He made me excited that I did it. And it was so great to see him thrive with it. But my 4-year-old daughter, it's like she's still getting the concept, and she's kind of motivated because she sees her older brother doing it. And then my oldest son, who's 11, it's like he's still figuring out the actual mechanics of how to do it. And also his motivation is not completely there with it yet. But he is starting to grasp on it too. So it was like the other two are more slow to take to it, whereas he was like right on it right away. Like, where my privilege at? Put my, how many did I do? Tally him up. Like, he was keeping me on my toes. So he's gone into it. He's doing really great with it. And I'm really proud of him for that. And but they were just excited about it. They were excited to see their pictures. You know, like, look at me. You know, they were excited to see the chakras being used because they're very familiar and they love that whole concept already. They have a little chakra doll with all the little chakras on it. They have chakra coloring books. So that's something, and they watch like Avatar, which talks about the chakras. So they're really excited about anything that's involving that. So right away, it had their attention. And I feel like it will morph over time. Like these things will change out for other activities as they grow. And that like maybe later there will be a point system used for each of these that I might write on there with the dry erase. But for right now, that's how it's working. I might at some point start actually saying, hey, these activities I want to see done today, and hang them on there, and then they change them to the lower one. But right now, it's not how it's happening. So yeah. So I see this being versatile, that it will grow with us. And I see it being like way more interactive than just like having a name chart with stickers and you just checking off, you know, things being done. I see it as very more personal and more culturally appropriate and more spiritual, if that makes sense. So the next one is there a point system to earn the privilege? Okay, I addressed that. Where did you get card holders and rings? I addressed that. The rings, make sure when you order those rings, I ordered like about 200 off of Amazon. And when you order them, make sure you get the nickel-free ones. I wasn't nickel, yeah, lead-free, nickel and lead-free, because your child, they're touching those with their hands a lot. You definitely don't want anything to be toxic, especially if you have younger children or any children that are very oral. You want to make sure that it's something that's safe. And of course, you don't have to use the hooks. You could use Velcro. You could use little sticky dots. Make sure you take into consideration your child. Like if your child is a mouther or is likely to put things in their mouth, you don't want to have something like that where it could be a choking hazard, okay? And then what did you use to secure everything? As I said before, I used a hot glue gun. So all this will pop off real easy. And that's why I didn't put this on my walls. I put it on my cabinet here and on the refrigerator, which the glue gun pops off there real easy. And I use magnets. So that way, it pops on. It's, you know, everything's movable. All right. So that's what I use to secure it. And that was pretty much most of the questions that I had off of Facebook and a lot of the interactions I had on there. Thank you guys so much for your interest and for helping me to come up with this. This really was like a team effort from my friends and my Facebook family and my friends on Facebook. When I first started, I was not thinking I was going to do something like this, but wow, you guys really inspired me, and it's made me a way happier woman to have things running in my house a lot more smoother, and for my children to actually enjoy doing the chores. I mean, it's a win-win, right? So yeah, so if you guys have any more questions, be sure to drop them in the Tribe Neuro blog in the comments below, or on YouTube if you're on there. Put them in the comments on there, but really I like them to be on PassageInstitute.com. That's PASSAGE Institute.com. And let's see. I was going to go over, since I said at the end, if I had time, I would address some things right quick. So get the stuff out of my lap. But I did a game that I was showing earlier on Facebook, and it was basically a word game for their literacy, and it's a fishing game. So I don't know if you want to point the camera down into the bowl. So I just used a fork for the fishing rod and some yarn, and then I attached a magnet. It's all tangled up to the end of it because they've been using it a lot. So I attached magnets to the end, and on each fish is a a paper clip, and I laminated them. I put little googly eyes, and then it has an ending. So AT on the end of this, one is ICK, ick. And so basically when they fish and they pull the word out of here with their fork or fishing rod, then they have to say, for example, if they have ick, it would be like sick or trick. You know, if they get, what is this one? This one says egg on the back, and I use some really cool papers. Egg might be dig, big, that type of thing. Here's a pretty one. And, so it might be can, man. So you just pull them out with the magnet. I can't get this loose. They have completely tangled it up, which is good that they've been using it, but maybe I should figure out a way for them to keep this much neater. So that was just a literacy game, and you can do this with any kind of, so here we go. See? Wax. See how it just hangs on there. So that's the ideal for them to fish out of the bowl. And you can do that with any type of words. It could be prefixes. It could be beginnings of words or endings or whatever. So that's what they look like. It's a bowl of fish. So they're just fishing in there. And I'll show you right quick the how I use. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab the chess cards real quick. So here are the chess cards. And it talks about how things move on the... So here we have the king, and it shows how the king moves. He's only able to move one way in all directions one way, and explains that. So it basically really puts it on the child's level. The bishop and how he moves diagonal as far as he wants to. Just to show you a few examples. And then here is the queen, and she moves wherever she wants, however she wants, you know. So we talk about what that all means. And of course, we have our chess pieces in here, and they have the chessboard over there. So that's a way in which you can use this, and you can see what size they are, and they're culturally appropriate. And then if you want to take a walk with me down to the hallway, I will show you right quick how I have the alphabet cards. Okay? Okay, and we're back. Okay, so right here I have the alphabet. Like I said, we have these cards, and they're downloadable on our website at passageinstitute.com. And so you can see, for example, B is for Bismillah. C is for cold cereal. E is for Eid, exciting Eid. And I use all lowercase letters because when a child is learning to read, they have to be able to recognize most everything that they're looking at is going to be in lowercase letters, not uppercase. So a lot of times in school, you notice that they focus on the uppercase letters, and they're teaching the alphabet first from the uppercase, and then the child has to go back and learn the lowercase. But because majority of what they see has to be in lowercase, I teach the lowercase first. So these are all in lowercase. So G, yeah, the girl, and so on and so forth. So I have them on, again, you might not want to mess up your walls. So I have them on a string, and I have paper clips, and I just glue gun the paper clips to the laminated sheets or alphabet sheets. So and they're movable, so they can move along the string, and we can do different activities. And there's Velcro on the back too, so I can attach things to it. So this is a very interactive, it's hanging in my hallway, and it's one of the drills that I do with my daughter every morning, or that she does on her own as well. But we do it together, and it's really easy, and it's interactive. So she's, you know, it's fun for her. It's more fun than just like pushing a button on her tablet, or watching something, or, you know, doing something in a workbook. It's hands-on and very tactile. So there we have it. There's a few things that you can go to our website for. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and make sure you check back with us at Tribe Neuro to see what we are up to. Oh, and we appreciate you. We appreciate any feedback. Please leave your comments down below. Do you have a chore chart? What do you call it? And what does it look like? Send me some pictures. Send me some comments. Share with me what you're doing, or ask anything if you have any questions about what I'm doing here. So, all right then. See you at passageinstitute.com. Bye.